Hi everyone, it's Nicole Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be creating a couple of cards with brand new products from the Mama Elephant March 2022 release, creating these easy layered rectangle backgrounds which are so much fun to make, and I'm going to share some tips and tricks on how to create multicolored scallop backgrounds with these dies. So the base of our cards are created with the combo rectangle. You're going to need two of the kind of dotted outline rectangles for your background plus the corresponding stitched rectangle to cover up that section. So here I'm going to show you on this size that you flip one upside down and then they nest together to create that scallop. I'm going to do both the largest and the next largest size from this, but you also get several other sizes in this collection. Then I'm going to take some Pawsitively saturated inks from Simon Says Stamp, and we are going to ink up these little scallops with our mini ink blending tools here from Simon Says Stamp. I'm using the small size, I guess not mini, the small size, and I used Carnation Pink for my first layer. And what I want to do here is I just don't want two of the same color right next to each other. I tried every which way, and there isn't a way, at least not to this not great at math girls mind, to be able to kind of have super even colors. There's 19 of these little scallops all the way around. So what I ended up doing was making all four corners pink and then pink on the sides, and from there I'm just kind of building out. The orange color I picked is Cantaloupe. And here I'm just kind of planning exactly what I want to do for the bottom. We're not going to be kind of doing the same thing for the shorter sides. I guess not bottom, top and bottom. And then we're going to use some Sunbeam next. And you'll notice that for this first set, which was my trial to kind of make sure it's all going to work, I am layering them back and forth quite a bit just to make sure I don't mess up. Because remember, every other one of what it's going to end, they're circles right now, but what end up being scallops or half circles, I guess, are going to need to be a different color, and they're every other one depending on the layer. So I'm kind of using them together often to make sure that I'm not missing anything, and I'll have to go back and fill in a couple of little areas. But once I have done this once, I can use this one as a guide for my other one, because I'm going to do both backgrounds exactly the same. Now, you would not have to do this at all. You can totally die cut one of the pieces from one color and the other piece from another and layer them together for a two-tone scallop. That would be adorable. I've seen that done with the circle scallop combo circles that Mama Elephant came out with recently, which is going to give you a very similar look. You could just ink them up every other if you wanted to, or go maybe every three and do different colors. I don't know. There's lots of ways to do this. I wanted something that was a little bit more bold and had a little bit more going on, because the center of my card is going to be much simpler for this design. So definitely keep in mind that there are many, many ways you can go about creating with these rectangles. It's just a super unique idea. The easiest definitely would be to die cut this particular shape twice from two different colors of cardstock and layer them together, and it creates amazing results. So I am going to go ahead now and let's finish inking this one. I think I maybe have missed just a couple of the scallops. This first time around did take me a minute. So after Sunbeam, I used Sprout for the green and TIDEPOOL for the aqua. I absolutely love these inks from Simon Says Stamp. They are beautiful. So, oh, I missed one. That was the other, oh, I've missed two, or three. I've missed several. Fitting it together this way, it did take a tiny bit of work to make sure that I had everything just so, and I can still see that one on the side. And I think we'll go with that. That works. All right. We're going to take our second set now, and we are going to do the same thing, but again, I can use it as a guide. And look how pretty that is. Isn't that amazing? So you place those two panels together and place the stitched rectangle on top, and you end up with this amazing scalloped detail. I love it. No masking required. You can see I'm just using a small blending brush and inking up all of the little humps, I guess, along the side. So because I can use my first set as a guide, this goes so much faster for the second background. We're going to speed through the colors because I simply just copied what I did before. That looked good to me. And I figure why reinvent the wheel or cause me stress in trying to figure it out again. And we will just copy it, all the same colors. And this time I'm able to do all of them at once. So I'm just going to go around here with Sunbeam, then Sprout, and then we'll finish with Tidepool. So this is a kind of bright, happy, I tried to pick springtime colors, I suppose. I don't know about you guys, but I'm so ready for spring. So that was the color combo that I was drawn to for these cards. This release is amazing, by the way. I love every single stamp and die in this release, and I cannot wait to share the rest of my cards created with it coming soon. So much fun. Okay, now it's time to take our middle rectangle, and our inking is not done yet. So what I like to do with stitched rectangles oftentimes anyway is to mask off that outer edge from the stitching line to the edge of the panel with some post-it tape or washi, and then I can ink the inside, and it instantly gives you the illusion of an extra layer. And that's what I like so much about this. In this case, where we already have 2 layers underneath, I definitely don't want to add any extra layers on top. I'm wanting to make this a card that's easily mailed. So we're going to just go back to the ink colors we've used before, and we're going to create like a sky and ground. Very simple, nothing very detailed here at all. So I'm using Tidepool, Sprout, and also a little Fairway. I did pull in a little darker green along the bottom to give it the look of a sky and grass, and then we can pop our cute little critters on top, which are going to be coming soon. I have a feeling that this You Raise Me Up stamp set is going to be super popular. It is just classic mama elephant, cute critters, super, super fun. All right, we're going to do that for our second panel as well. I'm going to reuse my post-it tape. I did the small one first. I should have done the large one first. I think I'm going to have to tear like an extra little piece of post-it. I tried to make it work. So just a little tiny piece there. And again, we're going to go in first with Tidepool and do our sky. And remember that anything blotchy, looking kind of blotchy with this ink, once it dries and smooths out, is going to be super smooth and really, really beautiful. Just nice, soft, springtime fun. And then again, let's go back with Sprout and then a little Fairway. And I purposely kind of left where those 2 colors meet uninked. I mean, it naturally kind of to the eye appears that they meet, but that way not a ton of overlap. And let's go ahead and adhere these then. And this is where the magic happens with these easy rectangles, maybe, except if your tape runner tears your paper. Luckily that gets covered up. So we're going to start with our rectangle in the first layer. Then we're going to put some adhesive on the back and place it on the second layer. And I was trying to figure out the best way to adhere these. I don't think that's going to be it. I think I'm going to like it better like this. And just like that, we have like a Skittles type happy rainbow border all the way around. We'll do that for the second background as well. And then we are going to stamp the You Raised Me Up images on some Nina Smooth White cardstock using the Hero Arts Intensified black ink, and we're going to color all of these little cuties in. Now, I am going to speed up my coloring quite a bit today to save some time. But I have listed all the marker colors in the description box below the video here on YouTube, as well as over on my blog. If at any time you're wondering exactly which ink colors I used, you can find that information there. We're coloring in the little fawn with, I believe, E50, 55, and 57 with a little R30 for the insides of the ears. I have also tried to place the marker cap up when I remember to help show what color I'm using. I love these little stacked critters. To me, this is a great little mashup of all of my favorite mama elephant critters, from their darling little bird to, you know, the hedgehogs and bunnies and fox and bears and elephants and deer and koala. So they definitely have hit just the super, super cute images that they create. And of course that elephant I love. For Mama Elephant and the elephant, they do such a good job. It's been a while, I think, since there's been, I remember when they came out, I wish I could remember the name of the stamp set, but the elephant stamp set I loved so much, and I used it over and over and over. I ought to drag that out again one of these days. Use some warm grays for our koala. We're also going to use warm grays for our elephant. Little warm gray 8, go in and add all the dark areas. The elephant, of course, is going to be the biggest surface area here. I did spend a little bit of time coloring him in and getting the shading just right. You'll notice I'm adding some dot detail with my markers as I finish. Oftentimes, so a little warm gray 5 here. We'll also incorporate a little warm gray 4 and 2. For any pink inside Critter's ears, I often feel like it's a little too much, and so I will color over it with my warm gray markers to mute the brightness of that pink. And there is our elephant. Oh, so cute. I am going to go back and deepen and darken a couple of little areas. And then let's go in and add dot detail with warm gray 5 and 8 as well, which gives so much texture, so much fun. Once we have that, we are going to color in our bear next with E43, 44, 47, and 49 for the nose, R30 for the insides of the ears and the paw. He's holding up his whole stack of buddies here. And then the sentiments for this set are amazing. They're so uplifting. I'm going to be using thanks for the lift and thank you for being there for me. In addition, there are friends are the family we choose, and you raise me up to more than I can be. So very encouraging. And of course you can use any sentiment that you already have in your collection as well. I like that it's I call it the Mama Elephant font, but it's the one they use a lot for their sentiments in critter stamp sets, especially, I think. So I love that. And a lot of their stamp sets just anyway. Hedgehog is going to be back to E40, or pardon me, E50, 55, and 57. So pretty much the same colors we used on the deer, but these are not going to be on the same card. So I'm not too worried about like a lot of overlap, I guess, if you will. Warm grays for the bunny. We're going to go much lighter for the bunny than we did for the elephant or koala. Kind of sticking, I think warm gray 4 was the darkest color I used here. But I definitely did grays for the bunny because we've got a lot of earth tone browns for the rest of the critters. I did kind of pull out some more orangey toned browns, I guess I'd call them, for the fox, which you'll see here in a minute. We're going to go with B. Here's the little bit of color is a BG 70 and 72 for the little birds. And in addition to the bird up at the top of the tall stack holding the flag, I'm also stamping a couple of extra birds. There is one extra here on my paper that I didn't stamp very well. I felt like the outline was really, really dark. So I'm going to go ahead and I stamped an extra. The little hanging heart we're going to do with some RV 04 and 09, I believe. The exact color is listed below, and some yellows for the star, and then a teal banner with BG 10 and 13. This is the majority of like the color, quote unquote color, because everything else is a lot of earth tones for the most part, I guess with the exception of the birds. But I wanted to pick colors that would coordinate with our kind of Skittles type border on our backgrounds. For our squirrel, we're going to do E81, 84, and 87. I wanted to make sure and kind of touch on a couple of different color combinations so that there was different, it was different, I guess, differentiation, is that right? Between all of the different critters. And then we're going to use some brighter earth tone or orange based earth tones for our fox. And it's just a little note that I did not realize until after I had photographed and put together my cards that I forgot to color the tummy on the fox. In the finished card, if you end up being the recipient of this card, note that the tummy is colored in. Sometimes that happens, especially on something that you have a lot going on. I can't believe I didn't catch it when I was photographing it, but there is that. I ended up loving how the fox came out. I really like this color combination. I play around with different color combinations, especially for my fox, but I kind of need to make note of this one. I think I need to start like a swatch for favorite color combinations for critters. That probably needs to happen because I tend to go back to the same ones a lot, but I really liked this. Okay, and then I'm going to fix my heart a little bit. It was a little too light. After I've die cut all of my images, using the coordinating dies from Mama Elephant, I am going to use them as a guide to stamp my sentiments on each of the backgrounds. I'm using VersaFine ONYX black ink to do this. And just using the most natural spot on each panel once I've added the critters on to stamp that. And I stamped the sentiments first because I am going to pop up then my critters with foam adhesive squares to give them a little depth and dimension. Because yes, there's been quite a few steps here with all the detail for the border, but once you've put it together, it is a pretty simple background. And so I like to pop up my critters a little bit there. I'm also going to use a black jelly roll pen to add some detail to the eyes. I like to scribble it off on scrap paper first, and I didn't, so I'm going to come back and fix that. And let's go ahead and put foam adhesive on the other tall stack. The only images I'm not going to adhere with foam adhesive are the hanging star and heart. They're pretty teeny tiny, and so I will show you how I adhere those here in just a second once I get our largest image in place. Oh, how cute is that? I just love it. We're going to go through and add detail to the eyes on all of our critters again. The only critters I did not is the birds, and that's because I felt like it might get a little too bold for the teeny tiny image. We are going to pop up our clouds, 2 clouds on the larger background, 1 on the smaller, and then I'm simply going to add liquid glue to the hanging heart and star and dangle them from one of the clouds. That fills in that space nicely on a larger background, and then our extra little bird is going to be sitting on top of the cloud. We're going to add 1 cloud to the other card and have a little bird sitting on top. So sweet. And then we're going to grab some little heart detail, and I'm going to add hearts to the sentiments first. I always love a little pop of red on a card. And then these are the candy apple hearts. And then we're going to add just a couple of extra for a finishing detail before adhering these to top fold card bases. I've had some questions about the card bases recently. I am using card bases from Simon Says Stamp. I use these 99.9% of the time. They are pre-cut and pre-scored card bases, and I highly recommend them. I have added a link to the card bases in the description, or to the card base I used in the description below. To finish, we're going to put a little glossy accents on the nose on the koala. And we're going to take Nuvo Crystal Drops in White Blizzard and kind of trace the line of the cloud, which is going to finish our cloud with a little bit of sparkle detail once dry, which I love. And we're also going to place the Nuvo Crystal Drops on the hanging star and heart. We're going to let that dry completely. It is a very thin application. It didn't take very long for this to dry at all. And our cards are finished. Thank you so much for joining me today for these 2 fun easy layered rectangle cards featuring Mama Elephant stamps and dies. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. A huge shout out and thank you to my Patreon members. If you would like to become a member of Patreon, please click the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new card making video. Here is another video featuring Mama Elephant that you might be interested in. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.